When most people picture retirement, they think about the fun stuff. You know, traveling, spoiling the grandkids, maybe finally having time for golf, gardening, a book club, or that hobby that you've always loved. And those things are important. They're the reason you worked so hard and saved for all those years. But do you know what usually ends up being the biggest expense in retirement? Well, it's not vacations, unfortunately. It's not golf memberships. It's the cost people don't see coming. And if you don't prepare for them, these hidden costs can blow a hole in even the healthiest retirement budget. Today, I want to walk you through 3 of the biggest ones I see: healthcare, taxes, and inflation, and share some ways that you can plan ahead so they don't catch you off guard. Let's start with healthcare. Even with Medicare, healthcare is often one of the largest expenses in retirement. Medicare Part A is typically premium free, but Parts B and D, those cover doctor visits and prescriptions, they come with monthly premiums, and they're not always cheap. Then you've got deductibles, copays, and coinsurance. On top of that, many people choose a Medicare supplement or an Advantage plan, which adds another layer of cost. And here's the thing, those costs don't go away. In fact, they tend to rise over time. According to some estimates, a 65-year-old couple today might spend more than $300,000 over the course of their retirement just on health care. And that doesn't even include long-term care, which is a separate issue altogether. Long-term care is the big wild card. Now, none of us like to think about it, but the reality of it is many retirees will need some form of help at some point, whether it's in-home assistance, assisted living, or memory care. And the cost, well, they can be staggering. According to the median price for a private nursing home room, it's more than $10,000 per month. Yes, we're talking into the 6 figures per year. That's kind of expensive and can drain your savings very quickly. And without a plan, healthcare cost can become a financial burden. With a plan, there's something you've already prepared for. That might mean setting aside a healthcare reserve, budgeting realistically for Medicare premiums, or looking at long-term care insurance or hybrid life insurance policies that include care benefits. The second hidden cost is taxes. A lot of retirees assume taxes will be lower once they stop working, but that's not always the case. If most of your retirement savings are in pre-tax accounts like traditional IRAs or 401ks, your withdrawals are taxable. And once you reach age 73, good old Uncle Sam and the IRS requires that you start taking required minimum distributions, also known as RMDs. Those withdrawals can push you into a higher tax bracket, especially when combined with Social Security. Oh, speaking of Social Security, many people don't realize it can be taxable too. If your income is above a certain threshold, up to 85% of your Social Security can be taxed. And then there's the uncertainty of future tax rates. Now, right now, we're in a historically low tax environment. But taxes, they may not remain as low as they are now forever. So if your plan assumes today's tax rates will last, you could be in for a surprise. The solution? Start planning ahead. Maybe that means spreading out your withdrawals so you don't get hit with large taxable distributions that happen all at once. Or maybe it means doing a Roth conversion so you're paying tax now at a known rate rather than just rolling the dice on future increases. Maybe it means being strategic about when you claim Social Security so you can better control your taxable income. Taxes are one of those things you can't avoid, but you can manage them if you're intentional. The third hidden cost is inflation. Now, inflation doesn't always get much attention because it creeps in nice and slow. But over the course of a retirement that lasts 20 or 30 years, it can have a massive impact. Let's put some numbers on it. Imagine you retire today and your expenses are $5,000 per month. If inflation averages 3% in the 25 years, you'll need more than $10,000 a month to maintain the same lifestyle. Now that's more than double. So think about that. Double the cost just to buy the same groceries, pay the same utility bills, cover the same everyday expenses. If your plan doesn't account for that, you could find yourself cutting back later in life, just when you want stability the most. This is why it's important to balance safety with growth in your retirement portfolio. Yes, you need safe money for near-term expenses, but you also need investments that have the potential to outpace inflation over the long haul. Otherwise, your purchasing power will slowly erode. Now here's the good news. Healthcare costs, taxes, and inflation, these are the big risks, but they're not insurmountable. They just require planning. For healthcare, you can build reserves, plan your Medicare coverage carefully, leverage an HSA, and consider insurance for long-term care. For taxes, you can be strategic with your withdrawals, Roth conversions, and the timing of Social Security. For inflation, you can design a portfolio that balances safety with growth and build in the flexibility to adjust as prices change. The retirees who struggle are often the ones who ignore these hidden costs and just assume that things will, quote, just work out. The retirees who thrive are the ones who face them head on, make a plan, and adjust as life unfolds. So when you think about your retirement, don't just picture the fun stuff. Vacations, hobbies, time with family, those are important, but also picture the hidden cost. Because if you account for them ahead of time, they don't have to derail your retirement. Instead, they just become one more important part of a plan that's built to last. These hidden costs can be managed, but only if you prepare them ahead of time. If you're wondering how they could affect your retirement, reach out to me and let's take a closer look at your numbers together. And with a little help, we can get your retirement on cruise control.